Welcome back. Last time I demonstrated a very powerful magic and defeated an ice mage in combat. And I demonstrated the large amount of explosive power at my disposal. And this time we will most likely just be refilling on our mana so that we can expend more. Because I do get a lot of per tick, but I don't want to just spend. I mean, I'm spending all of it, but I don't want to just spend like 20 minutes just holding right click. I mean, I will end up doing that, but I don't want to just do that. Plus, if we're going to develop all this mana and we're going to mine, we should have a goal of some kind of how we're going to either stay alive or deal enough damage to kill the enemy faster. Because technically, it's not like we were being decimated. That arrow just bounced off my face. Now, I guess I've got the durability thing down. If we can kill the enemy faster than they can kill us, that's the telltale classic way of victory in combat. But we might need to look into our other options. God, whoever made this music is a fucking genius. Now, there are some weapons in here that would be very good, but I'm not going to pull them out quite yet. I say quite yet because eventually I will pull them out. But for now, Gander, a primeval curse which gains power based off the user's magical capability, requiring a percentage of the user's mana capacity when fire. So it does percent max mana. Or percent mana? I don't think it's percent max mana. I think it uses percent current mana. But my max mana is 656. It's not going to consider the gemstones. It also does have an extra benefit, which is that it removes debuffs and applies them upon the shot. Doesn't help us right now, but is a thing. Does exist. Shared pain could be good, but I don't think it's going to do enough. The Cup of Heaven is impossible to use. The Mystic Eyes of Death is very strong, but that's something we'll use later. Butterfly Effect. I use this in a multiplayer, and my god, was it brilliant. So, do not use unimportant blocks yet. So what's it? 2 quartz and a diamond? We'll use Butterfly Effect. I'll show what it does. It's cool. It's extremely cool. I will go so far as to say. This one's not quite a Fate thing, so for those who aren't Fate fans, don't worry. This isn't really Fate related. So if it's not Fate related, what is it? It's also anime related. So if you're not an anime fan, I mean, if you're not an anime fan, you probably haven't been having too much fun with what I've been doing. I'm sorry to say, that's just the truth of the matter. Use some powdered emerald. We have a lot of this. There we go. There's the powdered diamond I needed. There we go. Butterfly effect. Butterfly effect is extremely cool. So the way butterfly effect works, and on multiplayer, I've checked, other people can't see the butterflies. So what happens with butterfly effect is, yeah, this would work best if I had a hostile mob to demonstrate with. Or is it spider off to the right? Or maybe that skeleton in the woods? Those are hostile mobs that exist. So, are they still here? Do they still exist? Are they real? Am I hallucinating? Is this the real world? Or is it fantasy? Trapped in a landslide. No escape. I don't want to kill the newt. I could kill the newt. I don't want to kill the newt, though. He's just chilling. I don't really know a better way to show it off than to find a mob to show it off against. So we'll wait a moment on that until I see a hostile mob. Time will change over soon enough. You know, there's a big cave that I have right here next to my base. Let's take a dive down here. Why did I go through the water portion? There's a land portion. Oh, usually there are mobs down here. Doesn't take them very long. This little setup. Quaint. Hey, here we go. So, let's pull out the butterfly effect. So I cast it and it gives me a buff. Now I'm going to just swing my sword a bunch. Dang, this creature might be too small. And whenever a creature encounters the butterfly, they will trigger the effect. Whatever effect I've used to create the butterfly. And it just says, in the court of the Crimson King is the thing. So he is trying to fight back because he has detected a creature. Same with that one. But you can also do things like break blocks. And these will remain. Now, I can walk through them. But I used to just set these up around my base. And whenever friend or foe would come into my base, they would just randomly get hit. And I had a very powerful sword. Wasn't enough to one-shot them, but it hurt. So this is a cool spell. It theoretically could help me since I know the boss arena already, but I doubt it's super beneficial. Now, Gander would be useful, but it's not. It requires a high max mana, which I don't have, to get the most out of it. Treasury Projection is Gilgameshian Gauntlet, and I love it, but it consumes 120 per weapon, and the scroll gives the user a gauntlet which will project weapons and tools from the user's treasury, their inventory, some modded bags, and their ender chest, and fling them at targeted blocks they are looking at. The gauntlet has two other modes upon pressing shift right click. In AoE mode, weapons will be fired from behind you towards the direction you're looking at. And in chains mode, chains will spawn near the target you're looking at, and if the target is a creature, attempt to hit them. Right when right click is held while staring at it. It's cool. It is based off whatever weapons you load into it. but you have to then go pick up your weapons afterwards. And when I tested it in the past, it didn't seem to grab from my ender chest very well. It would just prioritize my main sword, which, shall I remind you, was my main melee weapon. And if you miss, I mean, what do you do when you miss? Your best sword just goes flying. It's like, oh, just have more than one best sword. Shit, sure. At that point, though, I mean, it's not bad. I do like it, and I like it thematically. For those of you who have been around, I do like my Gilgamesh. But, oh, bad day to be an Enderman. But it's just, and it costs Mahoy as well, which isn't exactly free. Costing something, I know, is the definition of not being free. I understand how stupid that statement was. Hey, very fade of me then. Just like our favorite lines. Just because you're right doesn't mean you're correct. People die when they are killed. And an honorary mention, which is just sort of a funny line, but it's not exactly a bad question. So why does Berserker go berserk? That one's not by Shiremia. That one's a Semiramis quote, but you know, it's still a good one. Or it's still a funny one. Now, before we progress in the realm of dishing out pain upon my enemies, I think we need a better source of food, as my sushi will soon run out. Can I look up food? Dog food. Okay. At Farmer's Delight. At Farmer's. A skillet. It's a pretty powerful weapon. Alright, you've also got your knives, your signs, things that are just generally good. And a lot of foods. A lot of foods we're looking at. Well, the sushi I have is from aquaculture, but didn't I require... Well, so the sushi's from aquaculture, but it required raw fish fillet, which was obtained by using a Farmer's Delight knife. Oh, there's also just a knife in aquaculture. Okay. I see. Who are you? Robot. I'm very distracted. I wish there was a way I could just sort this. Can I just click here to open the config folder? Okay. That's not what I was looking for. I thought maybe there was like a sorting filter setting thing. But there's not. So we'll just... At Farmer. There appear to be foods. And these good ones provide nourishment, which, as I've learned, is a food that, or is a status effect that makes you not require more food. Or it makes it so that you don't have to eat. Or that you don't use food, essentially. It's really good. That's my point. Mushroom rice gives nourishment for a little bit. But these are like the top tiers are like the squidding pasta, which requires cooking in a cooking pot. Fire 1XP. Or is that an output product? Or am I putting that into this? some raw pasta, a tomato, a fish, and an ink sac. What are the other options? A plate of roast chicken. The stuffed pumpkin doesn't actually tell you what it does. Or maybe I place this and then I can scoop it out. Plate of shepherd's pie comes from a shepherd's pie. 2 onions, 2 potatoes, a bucket of milk, and 3 mutton? That's it? Then I can just get a plate of it? I ate all my potatoes, unfortunately, but I mean, there's a village right over there. Don't I have onions growing like right over here? Isn't that just a thing? Sea beets. Dang. That's sea beets, not onions. Alright, so I don't have onions actually, but if I grabbed onions, potatoes. What about this pumpkin stuff? A bowl of stuffed pumpkin's quite good. I have to use a pumpkin as the base. I have lots of pumpkins around, but I still need potatoes, a berry, onion. Okay, there's just lots of ingredients here, and I don't have lots of ingredients. So you cook rice, and you need this. It appears for a lot of these really good ones, I need onions and I need potatoes. I mean, this makes sense. As we all know, potatoes are the superfood. Objective fact. If you don't believe me, look up the Irish famine. No, that's not my true reasoning. I just like potatoes. You can cook them in a lot of ways. It tastes good. And I mean, it's not just an Irish thing to like potatoes. I'm not Irish. I'm Russian. We also like our potatoes. I think the village might have even had onions in it. I recall something to do with onions. I have seen them before. Perhaps in a vision or a dream. But I have witnessed them in the past. As for potatoes, I mean, the village is just a good place to check for potatoes in general. None of that is really important. No chest. Just loot the nearby locals. Hey, I'm sure if they heard that I had something that I could do with... Alright, so here's tomato seeds. Tomatoes are also used in a couple of recipes. So I'll grab the seeds. Hey, cultivating crops like that, I'm sure they would appreciate that. I mean, who wouldn't? Well, probably you. You're not much of a farmer, though, so I'm going to just go somewhere else. Also, I'm not noticing a farm in this village, which concerns me because... Also, if that's a church, what is that building? Another church. There's just 2 different types of church. You know what? Different religions being celebrated here. What a cultural... I don't know where I'm going with this. What are you? Wild flax. I remember back in the day I used to play Timber and Stone. Oh, here we go. Potatoes. Perfect. With bone meal I can get potatoes to become more. Wheat, carrots. I guess I'll take a carrot. So back in the day I used to play a game called Timber and Stone. Oh, hey, little guy. Oh shoot, you're already in there. Come back. Used to play Timber and Stone, and one of the things that was really important to obtain in that game was flax seeds, because you needed the ability to make crops. Oh my. You needed the ability to make like cloths and stuff, and flax was how you did it. But you weren't guaranteed to spawn with flax seeds. And so you were essentially, the community had rallied around a simple yet effective plan. If you didn't start with flax seeds, you just reset. Or else you're just playing on hard mode. But I didn't know this the first time I had launched in, so I was trying to progress and make like clothings and stuff. Do I have a starbuncle on the gaze? I did not. Now I do. Oh, these tunes go so high. I'm sorry. I'm just getting so distracted. I was looking for sweet berries, but I couldn't find them. But Timber and Stone was a fun game. I still have it. It was a little difficult for me. It demanded skills from me that I didn't quite possess. Cobweb Entanglement. Discover a spider cave. And I will leave it discovered and untouched. Here we go. Here's the rest of the cave. Yep, lots of webs. And under here, there's a lush cave. But the game was fun. It was one of those, it was sort of sandboxy types of survival games. But it was a little, sort of like RimWorld-esque, I'd say. But everybody had like unique occupations, and you could switch people between the occupations as you needed them to do separate jobs. And it was quite a fun game. I did have a lot of good times with it. But the game stopped getting developed, so people don't really support the game anymore because, well, a lot of people had put money towards the project and then they just stopped. But the game was sort of like a 3D RimWorld where you could assign people certain jobs and they'd level up their jobs, sort of like how RimWorld has its sort of tasks. You know what? Something I might be interested in doing when I have more free time is doing a RimWorld playthrough. Oh god, the trees are on fire. Can I even fix this problem? I don't even know what caused this problem. There's the lava pool. I am now clued in on what caused the problem. Right, I should be holding out this dagger while adventuring. Having a 2 diamond in one hand, and yep, so this is filled now. I completely distracted myself. But it was a lot of fun. I might do a RimWorld playthrough in the future to sort of do this type of thing. But Timber and Stone was difficult. It wasn't unplayably difficult. It was just difficult because monsters would spawn in sort of the same way as like the RimWorld raids would happen. There's a structure of some kind. When in Rome, set foot in the catacomb. I do not want to step foot in the catacomb. Man, I love the new terrain generation. Oh, and there's the whole catacomb. It does look very cool. But I'm getting distracted again and again and again. The cool parts about Timber and Stone were like you could build all these bases with defenses. The monsters would show up and they'd come, and you'd have to build the available space in order to get people to show up. And you could trade with traders. And overall, it was a very fun and neat system. And you could equip people with weapons, and they could train with weapons at some place, and then it was all very, very cool, and it had a pretty unique art style. Well, not that unique. It was sort of like I don't know what the exact word for it is. Partial pixelated? I don't know, I'm not sure. It's like it was all block-like, but the details were sort of like Cube World, I guess, where they were almost like 3D pix. Like you could see like the blocky shapes of things, but there was depth to it in a 3D style. We now have tomatoes, carrots, and potatoes. So it's not quite onions, but it is a start. It is a start to my agricultural empire. Now I thought I had a hoe. Maybe I don't? I might have just had it on me while exploring and I got rid of it. Or maybe I'm looking right at it and you are very upset at me right now for crafting a new one. I'm going to set up the growing of some more crops. Got this guy growing over here. Looks like he's doing all right. I definitely don't have as many crops as I just set the space for right now, but you know, that's fine because eventually we'll want to see this crop by crop, row by row. Let's see these flowers grow. I don't believe that's exactly the line, but you get the gist of it. What can I do with tomatoes? Tomato. Farmer's Delight. Turn them into a tomato crate. Perfect. Put them into a Hydra burger. Twilight's Delight. Okay, that requires Hydra meat. Grilled shulker. So I really should have looked up the word delight, because that appears to be where everything's at. Also, onions. Uncraft them from something, automatically craft them into the... Yeah. I don't have onions. Hamburger. Alright, what about just if I search at delight? Alright, this gives me more options. Fried dragon egg. This reminds me of one of my players in my D&D had a joke going on where they saw somebody with a dragon egg, and they were an undead, so they couldn't even eat anyways. They just wanted to... They kept trying to convince the person who had the dragon egg to crack it open and make an omelet out of it. And then he didn't actually care about what the omelet would taste like. He just wanted to see them break open A dragon egg. Because he wanted to see if you even could and what it would look like on the inside. And that just reminded me of that since... I mean, that's effectively what it is. I mean, so we have tomato. It doesn't craft into anything immediately for me. Actually, with the beetroot right there and tomatoes growing, now we just need rice. Rice is from these guys. Now, I don't remember seeing rice, but I also don't remember looking for rice. So, tends to be a conflict there. You know what? That ship has several foods that I never even gave the time of day. Let's go, Lost Spirit. We're on a culinary adventure. Didn't I create a better way on? No, I didn't. I didn't do shit. I'm also running out of food. But I have bread to teleport, so I always have a better way up to the ship. The shield of repulsion, I think, was doing work during the fights that I've had. I imagine it was that. Wheat, a pickaxe, some regular seeds, and, hey, regular seeds. Well, good to know I wasted my time. Also, I am aware I can duplicate spawners like this one by just mining it and creating two. Oh, but I probably have to power those in some way. This one over here, it's already powered, it's set up. Perhaps we go boating down the shore for a moment. I mean, that's where rice would grow, I imagine. So I'm not 100% sure. You see, I'm not much of a rice farmer. Wasn't my calling in life. But hey, the world needs rice farmers. What biome is this? Ominous woods. Well, they're right about that. Does rice grow in the ominous woods? Oh, there's an illager tower. Or a pillager tower? I don't know exactly. That was a bear treading water. Yeah, I actually thought up until earlier today that the only way to get crossbows was from other drops, but apparently you can just craft them. They have a little bit of a janky crafting recipe that requires like a tripwire hook and a piece of iron. It makes sense, but it's just kind of... It's not unintuitive. It's just I didn't think of it. Sprout from biomes of plenty. Not rice. What about you? A lime carnation from cyclic. Not rice. Fear that I'm not going to have much luck finding rice in this river valley. And just this river. It's not a river valley, it's just a river. Unless you are rice. Common reed. Untamed wilds. Not rice. You know, in some regards, Rice is the deadliest game. Don't think too hard into that. Just let it resonate with you. Wild rice. Breaking it turns it immediately into rice. There would get rice seeds? There doesn't appear to be rice seeds. Can I just plant rice? Is that just something I can do? I accidentally scrolled past the... Oh my, what have I done? I scrolled past the rice. Well, good news is I have a mod that allows you to jump in a boat. Oh god. No. Spirit, fly out of here. I don't want you to drown. Here, up to the surface. You got it. There we go. I actually pushed the staff for just a tick, but one tick was all it took. It does appear that I can plant the rice in shallow water. There we go. Advancement made dipping your roots. Now I don't have infinite bones. Bones! But, you know, bones aren't the most expensive thing. So that's rice. That's tomatoes. I have beetroot right over there. I have potatoes. I have carrots. Now, most of these also require a meat. Finding the ultimate food that requires no meat is generally the most powerful in a game where you can set up farms. But rice can be used in, not that much. Specifically, cooked rice was being used in several things, right? Well, it was used in one of the nourishing meals. Beetroot, tomato, rice bowl, and mutton chops. Oh, 2 salmon rolls that actually have pretty good. Oh, but you need raw sliced salmon. You can get from a cutting board. Putting salmon on a cutting board produces 2 and 1 bone meal. How do you make a cutting board? Not very expensive at all. Do I still just have raw salmon sitting in a chest somewhere because I couldn't mince it? No, I probably minced it then. I'm checking the new chest like I obtained it recently. I know I didn't. So why would I be checking there? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Yeah, no luck. Anyways, where's my bones? There's my bones. Anything else? Anything else? No. Nope. Now we should do a full harvest of the wild beetroots over here, whose seeds I threw out. I got 1 beetroot from all of that. But I gotta get a lot of beetroot seeds. And I don't think I have any mutton. If I did... Well, sheep spawn in all types of dimensions, and I assume they'll be able to drop me some mutton. I didn't get any onions, but oh well. We'll just have to live with beetroot instead. May have overdone it slightly. Cooked rice into this because I need tomatoes, I need beetroot, and I need rice. May have just spent almost all of my resources on tomatoes. They weren't mature yet, I guess. I have 1 beetroot, 1 tomato, 0 rice. I can craft approximately nothing. Beetroot doesn't even... And I have 0 beetroots because I tried to make beetroot seeds. And instead... made red dye. It's kind of funny. Gotta admit. Alright, so we plant the tomatoes, we'll plant the beetroots. Man, I should also probably plant some wheat then. You know what? And now I'm going to set up a farm in the Twilight's Forest with the Twilight Rams. Why with the Twilight Rams in particular? Because I believe them to be easier to herd than the non-existent sheep I have. And if I can make fried rice into... I mean, mushroom rice isn't bad either, but cooked rice into roasted mutton chops. It seems like a pretty easy dish to create to give me nourishment for 5 minutes and a lot of generally good effects. I do need cooked mutton chops, which you get from slicing mutton on a cutting board. You get 2. Can I make a sheep spawner? You absolutely can. You need a soul vial filled with sheep, a broken and a broken spawner. Oh, right. So I'm not actually... When I break those spawners, I'm getting 2 spawners per, but I'm not getting... Oh, but they do come with... So I guess I just overwhelm it, then I get an empty, so then I get sheep... Or sheep spawner. Yep. Costs a lot of energy, though, as well. So I'll have to start with the basic non-automated ways. And then eventually I can have automated superfoods. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, pal. But for now, I don't have food, and I don't have a way of getting more food. Because all I did was try to set up for future food. That was not very intelligent of me. Well, we'll carry 1 Aether gummy. And we'll eat this when we get very hungry, and then hopefully that will sustain us a little bit. We also get Aether blueberries. But we've set up some farming. We've shown off some other cool magical powers. There's only one last thing to do. And I'm going to pick this up because spawning down here is kind of inconvenient. This will be Iceman Tower. Iceman Tower. Now, which way to the giant pit? Village was this way. This looks like a giant pit over here. Did it really go so far from the tower? Feels unlikely. I did duel with the guy over here. I went over this hill, so yeah, it shouldn't be over there. I haven't watched Konosuba. I do know the explosion staff is from a Konosuba character. I have a friend who really likes Konosuba, but I haven't watched it. Perhaps I'll watch it in the future. Nobody ever explicitly said, like, oh yeah, you really like this, but in general, people say, oh yeah, it's a good one. So, you know, it might be worth watching. You know? Maybe you don't. I really wonder how many times I say, like, I'm just talking and you just sit there going, what the hell are you talking about? It'd be pretty funny to have a track like that. Anyways, we're going to beam down for a little bit. Can't reach him from here. Right, perfect. So with that little bit of beam usage, we made it all the way down here. Oh, that seems to go down into some sort of cave. Anyways, now that we have a tunnel down to a very deep layer, we'll want to expose a lot of blocks. Make it a big fucking hole. Oh, there's more cave down that way as well. Alright, now we have some exposed diamond over there. An amethyst geode up there. I think that's charged Certus quartz over here. Now this is... Am I deep state forbidden narcotics crystal stuff? He's trying to summon. I appreciate his gusto. I accidentally just shunted myself. This is why we need a better weapon. This is also why we need a better class of criminal. Anyways, this is just an efficient use of my mana that I spend 40 minutes generating slowly. The fastest way up is probably out this way. Man, I really am running out of food quickly. I need to solve that issue. I mean, I'll probably just start by doing some fishing next time, but I mean, I'm just gonna run back to my base first, and I don't want to do it before ending. I don't want to end the recording before I get there, just because I thought that camel was a giant mutant spider, which would not have been an absurd thing to see, as they have mutant creatures on. I don't know what mutant creatures exist. I know there's the... From experience in the past, there was the mutant zombie, which is the Hulk, and we've actually seen one of those. I ran away as soon as I saw it. There's the mutant creeper who jumps and explodes. I remember him. He has like the weird spider legs. There's the Enderman, who has like 4 arms and telekinesis. And then there's like the Juggernaut skeleton, who's really cool, but very deadly. But I wouldn't be surprised if they added the mutant spider or any other mutant mobs that I'm just unaware of the existence of. Or maybe there was a mutant spider back in the day and I'm just forgetting about it. Hanging roots. It's apparently just a Minecraft thing. Ah, oh, Heliza the Hungry has woken nearby. Over there, I imagine, where the green beacon is. But I've had fun sort of setting things up. I hope you've also enjoyed yourself. And I will see you next time. Have a happy Halloween.